Well, hello everybody, welcome back. That's right, it's part 2 of the garden, the vegetable garden. We went to Armstrong yesterday, went back to Armstrong.
We did.
Because we had to get a bunch of the veggies that we were gonna do for the zone over there. Now, it's like 8 by 3.5, so almost a 4 by 8, which is pretty standard for a bed. It's not a raised bed. It's a kind of just a vegetable garden bed with, we're gonna mix in our topsoil with the existing dirt, because we have really good dirt soil here. So yeah, it's not a raised bed, if that's any consolation. Doing a lot of tomatoes, doing a bunch of things. Greta is keeping an eye on things over there. She's the foreman on the job. Greta, you should be wearing your protective helmet. She said, we're not working yet.
We also had to get more soil, by the way.
We had to get more soil, that good stuff that's hard to find, by the way.
Okay, so here's what we ended up with. Obviously, we have some that we previously showed you and talked about what we're going to be using, but we grabbed this heirloom tomato. This is a Hawaiian pineapple. Just looked cool, so we decided to grab it. Now, I'm just going to tell you, by the way, this is our first time doing this. We kind of just said, heck it, let's just go for it and just do whatever we can. The other one we grabbed is this Jubilee. That looked really nice. Really cool. Apparently it gives tomatoes all summer if it does good. The other one we grabbed is another heirloom variety. It's a San Marzano. So we grabbed that. It's a little bit bigger, so we'll put that on the other corner.
So that's for sauce.
And that one apparently is really good for sauces. So, hey, if we can make that happen someday. We were going to get a Roma tomato, which is also good for sauces, but instead we went with this one because it is interdeterminate. That means it'll keep producing as opposed to just like one time. Then we grabbed this one. One of the workers there was telling us this was really good. It's called a Kellogg's Breakfast, which I just like that. So we're gonna try this. I wanted some yellows. I'm a big fan of Kellogg's breakfast cereal, so why not have the tomato, right? Now we get into the adventurous stuff that, we just decided let's just go crazy with it. So we grabbed another zucchini squash. So we have 2 zucchini squashes. This one is a Black Beauty, and it already looks beautiful. Then we decided to grab another zucchini, and the one that I did was just a regular zucchini, like golden zucchini. So we'll see how that does, or squash, I should say. Another wild card that we kind of did that I was curious about was this pole bean Kentucky Wonder. Let me show you the little card here so you can kind of see. We're just gonna try it, see what works, see what doesn't. Now, some of these, like the squash and zucchini one, I hear they're more like vine, kind of like the strawberries and whatnot. But again, we're kind of gonna try it, see what works. I think that's the only way to do things in life, right? The other one I grabbed that I was really excited about was some cucumbers. This is what was the type here? It's a muncher. That attracted me, a little muncher cucumber. So we're gonna see how those fare. And because we have one strawberry plant and it is doing great, we are gonna do some Seascape strawberries. Now, we had heard when we were doing some research that Seascape strawberries, they were developed for our climate here in Southern California. So we said, why not? Let's just try it. Again, you never know. We'll see how this goes. Now, if you're ready for the real wild card that we got, listen, we got a little crazy. We got excited. We got, are you ready for this? Corn. We grabbed corn. This is honey and pearl corn. So this does have to be hand pollinated, which we're fine with. We already did a little bit of research about it. So that's actually gonna grow right here. So that means today, yes, we are building another one of these suckers. We have to kind of turn up the dirt, add some more of the soil. Hopefully we got enough, because if you remembered and you watched part 1, we didn't get enough. So we grabbed, I think, 6 more bags. So hopefully that's enough. If not, we'll have to make a quick run to the store. But the idea is that we build this and plant all of these today, because again, remember, we have an artichoke plant back here. We have 2 of them that we got from Costco. We have a violet artichoke, and then we have a green globe artichoke. We also have the other stuff that we shared with you. So we've got our work cut out for us, but I'm kind of excited. I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous. If things work, great. If they don't work, this is how we learn. And we actually picked a really nice day to do this because yesterday it was so overcast and cloudy. And today it's kind of like partly cloudy. We've got a little bit of like sun popping in and out, which it makes us happy. We were like at the point yesterday where we're like, you know what, maybe we just need to drive over to Palm Springs and get some sun. But apparently they're having a wind event. So it's just better. We got to get our garden going. Right, Greta? Are you ready? Are you going to help us? Are you going to help us grow everything? And she loves cucumbers, so she says she's most excited about cucumbers. And she will eat a strawberry every once in a while, so hopefully we make that happen. I'm pretty excited. Are you excited, Greta? Are you excited? Are you excited? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, she is really excited. She just loves spending time in the backyard. So, all that being said, let's move on.
Greta, what do you think? Is this, is that how we want this? Oh no, I have to go on the outside. Thank you, sorry. Almost messed that up, see? The foreman is here. Keep us all in line.
Making sure it's done right.
That's right. Measure twice, she says. I know, I already said that to everybody. Okay, I'm gonna get the drill. Make sure this doesn't fall over. Thank you. Watch how fast she retreats once the drill starts, which really is like she's in a managerial position. She's not here for the manual labor part. She's like, whoa, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So I like to preset these screws because it makes it easier than doing it sideways. She's like, yep, you got this.
So we've laid it in, and we had to move some of these bricks, which we will be reusing. There's that extra little random screen that we have to replace that we still haven't done. Okay, so we're just kind of lining it up. Spence is going to probably just put a little screw in somewhere just to kind of hold it all together. And yeah, so... Yeah, we're not trying to line everything up perfectly because it's a garden. We're just kind of like throwing stuff together, not wanting to spend, you know, too much time going crazy on this because eventually we'll have to replace these. I think every, like 3 or 4 years. So again, we're not looking for perfection here. We're just kind of trying to get enough to keep it working and stable for the time being. All right, so now we're just gonna line these bricks there so we can kind of start filling the dirt because there's a little gap where they previously were. All right, there we are.
Cool.
Bricks, perfect.
Fill that in.
Yeah, we gotta, and we are, by the way, our friend Cheryl was telling us, definitely mix that dirt really well with the soil that we got. So we're gonna make sure we do that when we add more. These plants that are in here right now that you're seeing, these are kind of just like placeholders. So, you know, we kind of have an idea of like where things are going and all that jazz. And as far as like the strawberries go and basically anything that has any fruit on it, we just want to make sure that it doesn't touch the soil. So we got to build little stands for them, and we're going to try to put like the vinier things like the strawberry on the outside so that they can kind of flow over this little barrier that we built too. So, you know, it's a learning process, and think we'll figure it out. We'll do good. We've got cages. I think that's fun of it, is not knowing everything and just kind of doing what you think looks good. And it's so crazy seeing that right here, because when we first moved in and got this house, boy, when I tell you, it was right here. Maybe you've seen a little bit of it. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe we did. We probably showed it. But there was just these nasty smelling garlic plants and, just some other things that, we just didn't want here. So it's just crazy to see this entire, I almost fell backwards, this entire spot already starting to take shape and do some good. I'm really excited about this. Obviously, we have so much more work we need to do in the garden here. This is kind of like the temporary home for the rose garden. If you watched all of our vlogs, I shared a little bit of this on Instagram yesterday. But this right here is the Julia Child rose bush that we got from Costco last year. And look at that. Spence had pruned it back to, it was so bare, maybe a month or two ago. And now look at it. It is so vibrant and full of beautiful new leaves, and it's got tons of little buds of roses. I can't wait to see that bloom. This is our original Disneyland rose, which, yeah, we have to feed it and add more soil and everything, so we'll be doing that shortly. But yeah, we bought this, 3 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago? Yeah, when we lived in Irvine. And again, he pruned this one back to the point where it looked so bare. It was like nothing. And now it's getting ready. This is a Floribunda, so that means it'll have multiple different roses come out. And then this is my Julie Andrews, Queen Julie Andrews. Again, something that we bought from Costco, and this was last year. Also pruned down to pretty much nothing. And it's already got all these beautiful, healthy leaves and some buds coming in. I can't wait to. I'm actually looking so forward to picking some of these roses and putting them in the house, in the summer and everything. It's going to be so much fun. This is the other Disneyland rose that we got, that we just never transplanted it. We got it so late in the season, we had almost forgot about it over at Rogers Gardens. So we're going to probably transplant this into the front yard. But I did want to show you, we already have one coming in that obviously we won't be, it's probably not going to look too good because it's, the first one and all that. But regardless, that's the status on the roses. We have a lot of work to do back in this corner too. But, that's part of having a home, is like taking the time to do your projects and, see it all come to life. This eventually right over here, I think, is going to be a little bistro table, and we've got plans for this area. So it's going to be fun. You've got the glove surgeon. Wow. This is my emergency contact, everyone. Ladies, he comes with his own shovel. How did I resist this? I don't know. Oh boy. Okay, you're going to knock that window out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're gonna mess with the dirt here?
Yeah, I gotta turn this dirt. I gotta turn this dirt a little bit because we did that to this one a little.
Yeah.
We still gotta mix that one though.
Yeah.
I took everything out of there and mix all that, but I gotta dig down a little bit for this.
All right.
Because this is where we're gonna put the corn, and it needs good irrigation. So I gotta loosen this up a little bit in here, and the soil that we got to mix in with this will help with that. We were talking to the nice folks at Armstrong's, and they said, yeah, that's fine, because we were going to get a bunch of perlite, to make it easier. But I think that stuff works better in pots.
I think so too. We don't really need that.
We would need a lot of perlite, so we're just gonna do it up as best we can. And the corn part is like, whatever it does, but we want to do some farming.
Yeah, we want to try.
Because corn is more like farming.
I love corn. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, we're moving on to work on this bed. We turned up the soil for the corn bed. So we're going to turn this thing and mix in the good stuff we got, the good soil, with our existing dirt, and probably soak it, and then start planting all this stuff that we got.
Yeah, we gotta figure out where everything's going too. Yeah, we kind of figured out where everything was going, but that was prior to buying some of the other stuff because some things they just didn't have at the garden center. So
Definitely tomatoes in the back.
yeah, we know that much. Yeah. We know that much, so we're doing good. Okay, let's...
I'm gonna move that hose out of the way.
Yeah, we gotta figure that part out.
Okay, we took a lunch break. OSHA required, state required. Greta is like, she's a stickler when it comes to being the foreman. I know she looks innocent sitting there, but man, what a taskmaster.
Yeah.
She will not let us break any rules, but we're back at it. Katie's prepping the corn bed.
Yeah, so we added fertilizer to this. We watered it. It's good to go for planting, but now we just have to do this side, and then we're going to start sticking plants in the ground.
Yep. Got to get the prep right, otherwise everything else is not worth it. Yeah, it's the only chance we get to do this. So the foreman is close by, just making sure that you're doing the most in the process here. She says, use your legs, not your back. All right, on to the corn bed. That's what I call it.
Corn bed.
Corn bed. Corn-fed corn bed. So, yeah, we dug it up again because it just, there's a lot of clay in here. So we're trying to get, mixed it up as much as possible. We got a bunch of clay chunks out of there that were literally like clay. I would have loved that as a kid. More roots, the old stuff. So we're going to dump in some soil right now, mix this in, and try to get all the same stuff done before we move on to the planting step. And, you know, that's how you're probably supposed to do it.
Yeah.
We were going to try to do the vegetables. We're like, no, we better do this first.
Especially because what if it gets hotter?
Yeah. And the foreman, Greta, is here, and she's insisting that we do the job right. And she's like, look, while I'm here, do this part of it so I can approve it, and you guys can move on quicker, and we can, you know, pass muster. I figure that's the best way to do it. I don't want to get her mad. Anyways, let's get this started.
We have finally made it to the transplanting phase. Spence is right now getting the big sucker. What is that? Is that Roma? Oh, no.
No.
That one's the beefsteak.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the beefsteak one that we got at Home Depot. He's basically kind of digging out a hole in a space for that. Greta and I are taking a quick little break, getting all that soil put in. It's exhausting work. Huh, Greta? We're really grateful, though, because some clouds decided to join us, and they couldn't have come at a better time, because this is like the part where it's like you don't want to be in a ton of sun. So I'm happy. Like, really helped us. Okay, there she is. There she is. There she is. Wow, that is a good-looking beefsteak plant. I can't wait to get those tomatoes. We have that successfully in the ground. However, we noticed the cage that we thought we were going to use was too narrow, so we MacGyvered two and put them together, and Spence is currently zip tying them, so it'll make a bigger cage that'll accommodate for it. So I do understand, after going through this, why people buy smaller tomato plants to do, because It is way, it's just cumbersome. It's not easy to do the big ones. So yeah, lesson learned. I don't ever want to replant a big plant ever again. Not something, I think that was, I don't know. I see why we did it. We were so intrigued. We were like, oh, it's this big old beefsteak plant. There's one left. Yeah, we probably won't do that ever again. I say this now, but you never know. But yeah. So at least the big one is out of the way, and we still have one down and like a lot more to go. And we've already had such a long day. It's been, what? How many hours do you think it's been so far?
I don't know.
I feel like most of our day has been doing this. It's like probably 3 o'clock right now, so we're a little tired. Our backs are hurting, but you know, we got to power through. And here's your update, everyone. We have all the tomatoes planted, but the one that we're sitting here cracking up, and it was quite a look at this mess. It was very bad. It's the German Queen tomato. We've been looking to see if there was like any other ones,
She
but
had a wiry main root that we saved. That we, you know, when you're transplanting something like that, you don't want to mess with the roots too much, right? But we found the main root, and it was all.
Yep, we trimmed it, dug it out of there. We do have a cherry tomato over there that's like doing okay. We might make that our sacrificial lamb. We're not sure yet.
Look at it, it's still producing.
It might be okay. I don't know. I have another idea.
It's over there in Basil Forest.
Might try to propagate it or something. But anyway, the German Queen lives on. We did some trimming. We still have to get some cages, and we have to do a little bit more trimming on these possibly. We got to look into it. But we got Mr. Beefy Beefsteak over here. He's doing good. We'll trim off the tops of those eventually. But yeah, we've still got a lot more to go. Surrounded in a disastrous mess, but it's fine, right? You having a good time? All right, on to the next phase.
Ladies and gentlemen, wearing my MTV Vegas, it was like VMAs or something that we did in Vegas years ago. That was my crew shirt. Anyways, she is putting in the squash and the zucchini, or as I like to say, the squashini section, or the zwash. The zoosh. No, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Greta's going to take a sun bath. Thank you. She said, nah, not if you put the camera on me. I'm not. So yeah, this is what you're seeing Katie doing right now is kind of like, this is what she's been wanting to do for a long time. She's gardening. She's doing her thing. She's got her gloves on. She's putting in some squash that she will use this stuff. The whole idea for this garden, I mean, I'm sure we mentioned it. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. Was that we wanted stuff we can actually use. And we talked about it, and there were some things that came up that we were like, yeah, but do we even eat that stuff, or would we? No. So why would we grow that? Yeah. That's why we decided on what we did, hence a lot of tomatoes, because we love tomatoes. And then for me, there's a part of this that's like, I just love the science of nature, I think is what it is, and how this all works. And the fact that there's like, it's almost like there's these rules in nature that say like, I mean, there are essentially like, you know, when planting season is and certain things you do, and this will happen. And if you put this plant here in, 70 days, it will produce this if all goes well. I mean, just that whole nature of that. I sometimes don't even care to even eat it. In this case, we're going to, but I sometimes just like growing stuff for the whole sake of like, look, a perfect tomato. And like, sometimes we'll just let the rabbits get them, or the squirrels or whatever. I don't know. There's something about that fascinates me, the process and doing that, whatever that is. Oh, the tags are going in. This is the satisfying part.
Totally.
Putting the tags in. Straight neck. That's not me. Hey, Miss Supervisor, seem to be relaxing a little bit on the job here, huh? I'm sure you have a supervisor too. I'm sure they would love to see this. Mm-hmm. All right, Katie is now putting the strawberries in the barrel, which I think is a great idea. Isolates it. We can control, making sure they don't hit any dirt that can spill over the edge. I think it's a great idea.
And we had all this extra soil, so it was like, you know what? Let's not waste it, and let's just use it.
Okay, next update. We're looking good. We're looking real good. Cue the John Cougar Mellencamp. Cue the, I don't know what else. You guys tell me in the comments. I'm sure you'll come up with some really good, appropriate ones. Anyways, there it is. It's a really small space. We kind of crammed them in there. And kind of 8 inches apart. Yeah. We'll see how it does. Who cares, right? We're going to give it a go. And it's like a white sweet corn type thing, I think. Whatever it is. Dude, I just want to be standing there kind of like, you know, at a sunset, like kind of smelling the corn. Like you see the pictures of farmers doing that. Like it's just, like I said, cue the John Cougar, man. Anyways, the next update is this. Look at this. It's pretty much full. She was saying earlier that she was concerned she planted stuff too close together, but you know what? The viney stuff in the foreground here, those squashy things, let them get crazy. And then the tomatoes in the back, I'm pretty excited about that. So we've got the big beefsteak right there. And then we've got Katie's little variety of yellow. And then there's the German Queen. She's a little shocked from the transplant, but she'll be fine. And then the sauce one, San Gennaro? San Marzano. You know, whatever it is. Peppers, artichokes. Excited about those. I hope those make it. Who knows? Cucumbers. A little 6-pack of cukes. I love it. She's still working on these strawberries right here. This was a kind of a last minute thought to do that. There it is. I dropped the drip line in there. I have to make a few more, actually a bunch more little mini lines. They're really easy to attach and to put the different little, these little guys in there. You know, you got the bubblers, the drippers, all the different kinds. Anyways, I had to kind of secure it with some bamboo sticks because the thing was wiry and it wanted to like bend and it was wanting to take my plants out. So I had to make a fence line for it to hold it back. Same with here, look. I had to make like a goalpost for it. See how it goes. We always account for some loss, you never know. But at least we have the growing medium in which to, if something goes bad, take it out and try another, put something else in there. But we got in just in time. Like growing season is like, we're like kind of late, but the corn's going to be the big wild card. We just wanted to do it for fun. That was this year's wild card. It was either that or like watermelon or something like that. But we thought, let's do corn. Okay, it is the next day, and it's a beautiful sunny day at that. Look at this. I mean, beautiful blue skies with clouds, and we got a little breeze going. Beautiful day. Wanted to update you guys to show you, you know, how it went overnight. Sometimes when I've planted things in the past, the next day I'll go out and it's like everything's in shock, and you're like, oh boy. Wanted to give you guys an update and show you how things are going as of the next day. There you go. Over here to the corn. Now, what I had to do, the corn looks fine to me. What I had to do with the drip line hose, it was so, I don't know how to put it, unwieldy, or I don't know, it was just, it had a fixed curve in it kind of, and it didn't want to lay straight. And I did my little bamboo sticks, but it wasn't enough. So what I ended up doing was just getting a couple pieces of pine and making like a little go through there and locking it in so that it can't move. Did that this morning. So far so good. I haven't added any of the lines to it yet for all the specific areas. You know, I might eliminate some and then replace some. Then I have to spend maybe an hour on doing the drip lines. It's really easy. But over here, these took really well. They're looking really spry, all this stuff, because it was kind of laying down yesterday. And what we're going to do is what they call cattle gate type of stuff, some sort of trellis for this to climb, because this is a climber. The muncher cucumbers look like they took. They're looking happy. The tomatoes in the back, They're not drooping. And I'm happy to report the German queen, who was really in shock yesterday, she's starting to straighten up a little bit. She was really droopy yesterday. But, you know, it's to be expected. That root was pretty big, and we had to try to unearth it. There's the San Marzano. I've called it 13 different things, but there you go. The peppers and our existing pepper, who's starting to really show some fruit. It just had a tough year, so it's all dwarfed out. And the artichokes, looking good. That's one of the things that I'm looking most forward to. I don't think I've ever even seen, I've seen it in pictures, you know, but I've never seen one in person, like an artichoke growing. I'm fascinated. Now this right here, the strawberry pot thing, she just went and bought I think a blueberry to put in the middle. So it's going to be a berry pot, a very, very good berry pot. It was funny. Last night, Katie was doing a ton of research. Like, she was going down the rabbit hole after, you know, both of our bodies had failed. We went inside and she was doing research. I was listening, like, you know, whatever she was listening to on her phone, I could hear it. And it was all planting and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So she had researched the berry thing and realized, oh, I should, you know, keep those all in the same thing. And then I think our friend over at Armstrong was telling her that it needs a different pH, a little more acid end of the pH spectrum. So better to isolate those in that barrel. So that worked out. Katie's on a mission somewhere. She'll be back soon. But we are going to wrap this up. This was part 2 of the garden series, which will, man, some of you who are watching this are going to go, yeah, I remember watching 1 and 2. Like when they came out, because we're on episode 263, where we turned the entire backyard into a vegetable garden. No, I'm just kidding. But we are going to continue this thing, because why not? It's like kind of a journey to see if anything survives and if anything actually makes it to the table. That's the goal, for it to make it to the table. And then there's even talk of, like, you know, a citrus tree, and we're talking about that, and then how that works. And if you guys have any tips on that, I've heard people say keep it in a barrel. I've heard lots of different things for that, because you don't want it to get too big. Maybe you want it to just produce fruit and keep maybe kind of smaller. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. We haven't done that ever yet, so we're kind of looking into that. And I'm like, why don't we get one and then graft on a different fruit, so we have like a tree that produces like multiple fruits? Is that even achievable? Is that way too much to like even think of doing at my level of lack of expertise and all that? I don't know. I digress. Anyways, we will see you next time. This garden will continue, as will the rest of our content. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.